In my last episode, I shared the 6 signs I noticed before my toxic relationship escalated to the obvious ones. And at the end of that episode, I gave you an exercise. I ask you to take a piece of paper and write down everything that doesn't feel right in your relationship. And then to ask yourself one question. If the person you love the most in the world, your mom or your sister or your best friend, sat across to you and read everything on that page, what would you tell her? And if you did that exercise and you got a clear answer, this episode is for you. Because today I want to talk about what happens next. Not the leaving itself, but the after. What happens when you finally close the door and you turn around and you realize you have no idea who you are anymore. But before I get into it, welcome back, or if you're new here, my name is Marta and I'm very glad you're here. I want to tell you my story very quickly so you understand where I'm coming from. I was in an on and off relationship for 3 years, physically and mentally abusive, a drug addict man. And I kept going back. Then one night, after another argument, I called my dad to pick me up from his apartment, and we drove in silence with my dad, and my dad asked me one question, just simple, quiet question, but it landed differently than anything anyone had ever said to me before. My dad asked me, if you were sick today, really, really sick, would this man stay with you? And I had the answer because I knew this guy. And I went back to that apartment one last time. I packed my bags, I got in the car, and I went back to my parents' house, and I never went back. And then the real work began. Because leaving is the only first part. What comes after? The quiet, strange, uncomfortable after. Nobody really talks about it. The moment when you wake up and the drama is gone and the silence feels so loud. That feeling of being back in your childhood bedroom, wondering how you got here and who you even are anymore. I know that feeling. I lived in it and I rebuilt myself from inside it through a set of things that I did simultaneously, day by day. Things that slowly brought me back to myself. And today I want to share exactly what those things were because I know you can do it too. So let me get into it. And the first thing, and the one most people skip because it really feels unproductive, feel it. Feel the grief, feel the loneliness, feel the strange emptiness of a life that suddenly has a lot more space in it. Just feel it to heal it. Because here's the truth. The emotions you suppress don't disappear. They go underground. They show up later as anxiety, as anger that you cannot explain, as patterns you keep repeating without understanding why. The only one way out is through. You have to feel it before you can move past. And this is not weakness. This is the bravest, the most intelligent thing you can do for yourself right now. Don't rush to feel the space immediately. Don't go straight into being busy and positive and telling everyone that you're fine. Give yourself time to just feel it. The grief you skip always comes back later, and it comes back louder. You're allowed to be sad about something you choose to leave. You're allowed to miss someone who was not good for you. Both things are true, and both things are allowed. So feel it, so you can heal it, so you can move forward without carrying it with you forever. And now, the second thing, and this one was everything for me. Start with your body, because your body went through something. It was tense and alert and exhausted in the way that sleep alone cannot fix. So start there. And I want to talk about 3 things here: movement, sleep, and food, because all 3 matter more than most people realize when you are healing. Movement first. When it comes to me, I started with free Pilates videos on YouTube in my childhood room in my parents' house. That was it. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive, nothing complicated. I also started going for walks. I would take my parents and our dog every single evening, and those walks helped me a lot. They gave me structure, they gave me fresh air, they gave me time with the people who love me without needing anything from me. So walk outside every single day, even when you don't feel like you want, especially when you don't feel like you like it. But trust me, Now, sleep. When you are healing, your mind is doing enormous amounts of work, processing, rebuilding, making sense of everything, and it does most of that work while you sleep. So please protect your sleep like it is your most valuable asset, because right now it is. Go to bed at the same time every night. Put your phone down an hour before. Make your bedroom a calm space, 7 to 8 hours every night, non-negotiable. And food. When we are going through something hard, we either stop eating or we eat things that make us feel worse. Nourish yourself. Real food, warm food, food that makes your body feel cared for. You don't have to be perfect about it, of course, but pay attention, because what you put into your body affects how you think, how you feel, and how quickly you recover. Your body carried you through something very hard, so treat it like it deserves that acknowledgement. And now let's talk about the third thing, and this is my favorite one. So start the thing you have been putting off. You know exactly what I mean here. The thing you kept saying you would do. The thing you always felt like the wrong time, wrong moment, the wrong version of your life. For me, it was Italian. I had wanted to learn Italian for years, and I kept putting it off. I finally signed up for lessons. I'm not going to tell you I became fluent. I stopped fairly quickly, honestly, but this is not the point. The point is that I did something that was completely mine, that had nothing to do with him, that had nothing to do with anyone else. Something I chose for myself, just because I wanted to. And that feeling of choosing something for yourself without asking for permission, that is where the rebuilding begins. It doesn't have to be Italian, of course. It can be the Pilates membership you keep always buying, the trip you wanted to take, the course you bookmarked and never started, the appointment you kept canceling. Just pick one thing this week, just one, and start. Because every small decision you make for yourself, purely for yourself, is a vote for the person you're becoming. And those votes compound. One decision becomes a habit, and a habit becomes an identity. And slowly, without even noticing, you become someone you genuinely love. And alongside starting things, feed your mind with the right words. This is very important. I became obsessed with reading during this period. Books about mindset, books about psychology, books that helped me understand what I had been through and who I wanted to be. Every single page gave me more language for what I had experienced, and the language is power. When you can name what happened to you, when you can say this is the pattern, this is why I stay, this is what I'm healing from, it loses its power over you. And you stop feeling crazy, you start feeling clear. And alongside books, find podcasts that inspire you. Voices that make you feel like growth is possible, like you are not behind, like the life you want is actually available to you. Be intentional about what you listen to. Replace the scrolling with something that truly builds you. Start with one book, start with one podcast this week, before bed, instead of your phone. And now, the fourth thing, and this one I want you to take seriously. Start journaling. I know some of you are rolling your eyes right now, but stay with me here. When you leave a relationship like that, your mind is loud, very loud. Thoughts about what happened, thoughts about whether you made the right decision, thoughts about what comes next, thoughts at 2 a.m. that feel enormous. And journaling gives those thoughts somewhere to go. It doesn't have to be complicated. Start with one simple prompt every single morning. Things I'm grateful for today, for example. And I want you to go small. No, I'm grateful for my health in a general sense, but be very, very specific. For example, I woke up this morning and my body worked. I had a good coffee. The sun came through the window. My mom texted me, good morning, and my cat sat on my feet. Write down every small moment that gave you something good, something positive, because what you're doing without realizing it is training your mind to look for the good things instead of replaying the painful ones. And the more you do it, the more you'll find. So start this evening start this evening. And just write the things you're grateful for today. And don't skip. a day. And now, the fifth thing, start listening to guided meditations. I did this every single day. Not because I was spiritual, not because I had a perfect morning routine, but because my mind would not stop. And I needed something to give it focus, to give it something else to go other than the past. 10 minutes in the morning, sometimes just before sleep. There are so many free ones, guided meditations on YouTube and Spotify. Search for guided meditation for healing, for anxiety, or for letting go, and find a voice you like. And then just listen. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to empty your mind. This is not what meditation is. You just have to show up for this. 10 minutes every day. And over time, you will notice that the noise gets quieter. The sixth thing I want to share with you is rebuild the connections you let fade. Call the friend you stopped calling. Say yes to the dinner you would have canceled. Go home to your family for the weekend. Take your mom for a coffee. Make plans with the people who knew you before. When I left, I started spending more quality time with my friends again. Really spending time, not just existing around them. Rebuilding those bonds. Laughing properly. Talking about things that had nothing to do with my previous relationship. And slowly, I started to remember who I was around the people who had always known me. Because they are mirrors. They reflect back to you who you were before you got lost. And if you're far from home, if you're in a different city, if you're in a different country, just build it where you are. Find one person. Say yes to one invitation. Show up to one thing. Connection doesn't require geography. It just requires showing up. And now, the seventh thing. Go somewhere alone. A weekend trip, a day in a new city, even just a coffee in the part of town that has no memory of that relationship. Somewhere that is completely new, somewhere that is just yours. Notice what you choose when nobody is watching, where you walk, what you eat, what you drink, how you feel when it is just you. Because when you are alone in a new place with no history, no associations, no version of yourself that was shaped by that relationship, you have to figure out who you actually are. And what you find might really surprise you. You don't have to go far, but just go somewhere, even for a day, even for a half day. Give yourself the gift of a space that belongs only to you. And the next thing, the eighth thing, declutter your space. Whether you moved back to your parents' house like I did, or you stayed in your own apartment after he left, or you moved somewhere completely new, do something to your physical space that makes it feel like yours again. And here's why this matters more than most people think. Your environment holds memory. When you walk into a room that looks the same as it did during the relationship, your mind goes back there too. So automatically, without even trying, the space is full of invisible triggers. A corner where you used to argue, a side of bed that was his, a shelf with things that remind you of a version of your life you are trying to move on from. And as long as the space stays the same, part of you stays the same with it. So change something. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to redecorate everything. Just move furniture around. Buy one plant. Get new bedding. Clear out anything that is his or anything that carries his energy. Give things away. Throw things out. Make space. Because here's what happens when you declutter your physical space. You give your mind permission to declutter you too. To declutter too. You create room for something new. Not just in your home, but in your head and in your heart as well. So every time you walk into a space that feels clean, calm, and completely yours, something settles in you. This is my life right now, this is mine, and it is good. So start with one corner, one drawer, one shelf. Start somewhere today. And we're almost there. The ninth thing right now, and this one is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Do a proper digital clean. Your phone should not be a museum of that relationship. So let us go through it, block him, not out of anger, of course, not to make a point, but out of your own protection. Because every time you see his name, his face, his story, something in you reacts. Even if you are doing well, even if you have not thought about it all day, about him all day, one unexpected notification can send you right back. You're healing. You don't need those interruptions. So block him on everything. And then unfollow the mutual accounts, the ones that might show you what he's doing, where he's going, who he's with. You don't need that information. It will not help you. It will only slow you down. So delete the photos from your camera roll, or at least just move them somewhere you cannot accidentally scroll past them on a Tuesday morning when you were doing just fine. And then go through who you follow and follow anything that makes you feel worse about your life. The accounts that trigger comparison, the content that keeps you looking backward instead of forward. Curate your feed like it is your home, because in many ways, to be honest, it is your home. When you scroll through every single day, it becomes the wallpaper on your mind. And right now, the wallpaper should be building you up, not pulling you back. And now, the last thing is about dating again. When you feel ready, and I want to be very clear about that word, ready, start dating again, but please rebuild yourself first. Here's why. When you're in survival mode, when you have just left something that broke you down, you're not yet in a position to choose well. Not because you are not smart, not because you are not worthy, but because you have not yet rebuilt your sense of self, your standards, your values, your absolute non-negotiables. And here's what I have seen in my own life. When you do the work first, when you rebuild yourself physically and mentally, when you know who you are and who you want to be, what you will and what you will not accept, everything changes. You stop attracting what you are used to, but you start attracting what you actually deserve. Because you become someone different, you carry yourself differently, you speak differently, you make decisions differently. And the people who are drawn to you, the people who stay, they mirror that energy back to you. You attract what you are. You are the energy you want to attract. So become her first. The woman who knows her worth, the woman who doesn't negotiate on the things that matter, the woman who walks away from anything that doesn't feel right. Not because she is difficult, but because she knows what right actually feels like. So build her first. Those are the 10 things that helped me rebuild after leaving a relationship that had taken so much from me. And I know your life looks different from mine. I know your situation is unique, but I believe these things will give you something regardless or where you are, what your budget is, or how much time you have. Just do it simultaneously. And one more thing, if at any point during this process it feels too heavy to carry alone, please just consider talking to a therapist. Not because something is wrong with you, but because something was done to you. And sometimes that deserves more than books, walks, journaling. Asking for help is not weakness, remember. It is one of the most powerful decisions you can make for yourself. And of course, be patient with yourself. Rebuilding is not linear. There will be days when you feel completely fine, almost like yourself, and days when something small sends you right back to the beginning. A song, a smell, a moment of loneliness that feels exactly like the old one. That is not failure. That is healing. Healing is not a straight line from broken to fixed. It is a spiral. You come back to the same places, but from slightly higher ground each time. And one day, trust me, not with the big dramatic moment, you will just notice that you feel like yourself again. More like yourself than you did before any of it. If this episode helped you, please share it with someone who might need it right now and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I will see you next Wednesday, and I'm so proud of you being here. You're not alone. I promise.